The Nerd and Tie podcast is unsurprisingly a part of the Nerd and Tie podcast network. For more podcasts from actual play to true crime to witchcraft, go to nerdandtie.com or join our Discord at nerdandtie.com/discord. Did you know you could sponsor Nerd and Tie? That's right, for just $20, we'd say something cool about you. We'd compliment those shoes. We'd even say hi to your mom for you. That's right, just go to nerdandtie.com and click on the sponsor information. Or you can contribute to our legal fund by going to gofundme.com/nerdandtie.
On this month's edition of Nerd and Tie, no, you can't ethically consume the Rurouni Kenshin remake. The Last of Us trailer sure looks Last of Us. Or She-Hulk, Andor premieres, Lower Decks return, and we discover the Rings of Power. All that in the Vomit Hat Steve Challenge. Tonight on Nerd and Tie.
Yay.
Yay!
Oh, good. You can hear again. We had so we were dealing with some technical things, getting ready for a delightful show.
Due to connection problems, you may hear a little bit of white noise on this episode of Nerd and Tie. That is fine, and we'll all handle it because you didn't pay us any money for this podcast.
I'm cursed by white noise, and you can just imagine an angry Muppet. That's what I'm feeling right now. Angry Muppet vibes.
In the form of an angry Muppet, yes, is our beloved Tolkien spoken person. It's Gen Brock.
What?
Spolken. It's definitely a real English word that I didn't make up just now. Don't look into
yeah,
it.
sure.
Sure.
Laughing hysterically and trying to not destroy all technology around them. Trey Dorn.
I exist in a state of perpetual concern for the electronics
just a state.
in your home or life.
Just a state.
A state, not
A
specified
state.
what state. A state.
A state.
It's
yeah.
funnier if it's just a state.
Oh no.
And here to lend my knowledge and harsh your buzz, I am, of course, Celeste Pleiades, or Star Twin, or whatever you want to call me. Celeste is best.
Celeste Subaru.
Yeah, although again, apparently if we know the white noise isn't coming from your radon thing, we may as well not give you cancer this episode.
Oh.
Yeah, like
Okay, one sec.
We made Gen turn off the anti-radon thing in Gen's house because we thought it might be causing the white noise on the call, and we have discovered that is not the cause. And both Celeste and Gen muted themselves for a minute there, so I was just left talking.
No cancer for me, baby.
It was just I had a frog in my throat from earlier, so I'm trying to spare the audience.
There's
having
just
to
this
hear
moment where I'm talking and I realize that everyone else has muted themselves on the call.
I was only gone for a second. I had to physically go and turn it back on.
You're
the
fine.
switch is on the ceiling.
Oh, what a feeling. The switch is on the ceiling.
Yeah.
We have left the rails within...
We haven't even... I suppose
we haven't even touched the rail.
We need to probably... I understand wanting to be a bit goofy because our first story sucks, and then most of the rest of the show is pretty positive, honestly. I promise. But let's get the crappy thing out of the way. So our first story this week is something that I wish wasn't as near and dear to my heart as it is, but it absolutely is. So just this last weekend, the first trailer for a remake of the Shonen Jump anime and manga originally, Rurouni Kenshin, just had its first new trailer, a brand new series, a remake of the classic samurai anime. If you told me about this back when I was 16 through honestly 28, this would be a reason for me to be excited. Unfortunately, I don't live in that world anymore. So,
Yeah.
for those of you who might not know, back in 2017, the author of the comic book, manga, whatever you want to call it, Rurouni Kenshin, Nobuhiro Watsuki, was accused and then pled guilty to possession of child pornography. Like, this is not like a small allegation. This is someone who writes a comic book for a magazine called Young Boy Jump. Like, ostensibly writes a comic book for a children's magazine, and he was caught with kiddie porn. And all he had to do for it was pay, like, basically, I believe it was $1,900 in fines. His comic was canceled briefly, and right now, as we speak, as we are recording this, he is still writing a brand new Rurouni Kenshin comic book that Shonen Jump regularly publishes, and this new anime is functionally an advertisement for. Like, I get it. For people out there who might have grown up with that manga or anime, I understand loving it. I loved it. Honestly, until I read Berserk, it was probably my favorite comic I've ever read. It really was a life-changing comic for me. It got me into history. It got me into martial arts. But it was written by a predator who hurts children. And if you support the new series, you are giving money for that guy to go out and hurt children some more. I do not believe that a $1,900 slap on the wrist is going to stop the guy. And you probably shouldn't either. Like, I'm sorry to be... Again, I don't like being this negative at the beginning, and everyone's really quiet, which is freaking me out.
Yeah, no, it's
it's just...
I mean, what do you add? Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's
that's fair.
disgusting. It's absolutely gross and disgusting. And
Like
the fact that he got such a little slap on the wrist for a horrifyingly disgusting act is upsetting, to say the least.
Insult to injury, like, the author of One Piece has, like, gone out of his way to try to clean up Watsuki's image. So that's kind of tainted that a little bit for me too. And again, it's not like I don't understand people who might be excited for this. This was my favorite comic forever, but I haven't watched the last 2 live-action Rurouni Kenshin movies, which is saying something since the first 3 were amazing, like really well-made films. But guess what? It's not worth supporting a pedophile over.
Yeah, that's usually a bad thing.
It's usually a bad thing, yeah. I mean, I'm sorry that it's so cut and dry, but yeah, it's just... please do not support Nobuhiro Watsuki. Please don't give Shonen Jump money to keep him employed. This is bad. He is a bad person. Maybe I'll go into more in-depth cry-y stuff on my personal channel. I just wanted to get that out of the way. I think it's really gross that I've been seeing some people in the anime community trying to... If you didn't know, I hold nothing against you. If you know and you're giving me some bullshit about separating the art from the artist, kindly just shut up. Don't. Please don't. There's no separating the art from the artist when, again, the person is paying for child pornography. So that's a really ugly way to start this show. I'm sorry, guys.
That is, yeah. So in other words, don't engage with the new Rurouni Kenshin stuff ever. Just don't.
Just don't, please.
Just don't.
But
there are many other things you can spend your time on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about them.
yeah, if we want to talk about adaptations that adaptations of that are a bit less on the problematic scale, so HBO Max put out their first trailer for the live action adaptation of the video game The Last of Us, which I actually just finished watching the trailer before joining the Skype call, you guys.
Yeah.
Sign me up. It looks interesting to me. I dig it. Like, admittedly, a really strong cast on the show. Pedro Pascal doing nothing to like ruin himself from being typecast, or to stop himself from being typecast as accidental dad figure.
Right?
You know? Like,
Oh.
there he is. There's our buddy Pedro Pascal. What I mean, like, he's he's charismatic, he's good at action roles, he's good at reluctant dad roles. I get it. Good casting. The young woman playing Ellie, was I'm a big fan of her from like some of her earlier stuff. My wife is really into like children's TV.
Okay.
So she would often watch The Worst Witch sometimes while having in the background while
Gotcha.
sewing. Yeah,
You know
see,
what?
like that was
You know what's
it was good background
a
noise.
weird thing about the casting of Ellie is that so the voice of Ellie in the video games, let me see if I just want to make sure I have the it's because the voice in the video games is Ashley Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Ashley Johnson was a child actor when she was young, and actually the weird thing for me is how much is it Bella Ramsey, the name of this kid?
Yeah.
How much she looks like a young Ashley Johnson.
That is kind of weird now that you mention.
Like it's just a strange, just a little strange thing that like it's clearly not because it's not like the character in the game really resembles Ashley Johnson. You know, it's
No.
so I'm not. So it was a strange thing that like I turned on the TV, and I put on the trailer, and I was watching the trailer and seeing Ellie being like, that is not the face I expected them to cast a person with. However, like it's. Yeah, it's just it was like this is it was weird to be reminded of the other person who plays the character, even though the character doesn't resemble that actor in the games.
That pardon me. Oh, still a little frog in my throat. So no, I'm excited to see what they do because again, I really do like Pedro Pascal. I like Bella Ramsey, like her. Especially most of the stuff I've seen her in has been family friendly, like the animated series Hilda. Absolutely a delightful little show. If you get the chance to watch that, it's very cute, and I'm excited. She has very good acting chops, and I'm kind of excited to see her doing something orders of magnitude more intense. So I think that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
So you have two strong leads. Concept is. The original game is a classic for a reason.
Well, part one.
Part one, yeah. Well,
there are different
I don't
opinions
even
about how
the
good
to the different
part
opinions
two
about
are.
number two, but I didn't play it. I don't know. I didn't actually get to touch the second one, but I will say that
someone buy Celeste a PS5 and a copy of the game.
Yes, please buy me a PS5.
Yeah. So it's just one of our listeners, like all 10 of you, one of you, go out and buy Celeste a PS5 so we can get her full opinion.
Yeah, I need. You can get my full opinion, and then I'll get sidetracked trying to create the anime characters from Cyberpunk Edge Runners in Cyberpunk 2077. It'll be fine. Anyway.
Oh.
It's a very based anime. Not to get too off track, but
That's
highly recommended. Very.
I was
based.
just thinking, like, why is it this hard to find a PS5 this far into, like, the PS5's been out for what? How long is that?
Like 2 years.
2 years, yeah. And you still can't find them.
There's a podcaster I listen to who was like, I haven't played a video game for a while. I decided to go to a store to get a PlayStation, and I was like, hey, can I get one of those? And they're like, you need to get a ticket. Apparently, you can't just go to a store and buy a video game box. Like,
Yeah. It's well, I mean, like, here's the thing with, like, this is completely unrelated to anything we're talking about really this episode, but
it's kind of related. It's PlayStation.
But the thing about the PS5 is just remarkable because, like, there are some games like Cyberpunk is going to stop supporting the earlier consoles, but no one can buy the new one. So it's like,
Yeah. They're cutting their market.
Yeah.
By a huge margin.
That entire expansion for Final Fantasy VII Remake that's only on PS5.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What a terrible decision. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's
a
Yeah,
nobody.
really
PS5
stupid
exclusives right
decision.
now are just
If we were in a normal world, 2 years into the console's lifespan would not be a big deal to, like, drop support for the previous console generation, right? Like, in a normal world, but, like, because of the chip shortage, it's taken me literally a year to get my goddamn truck. I finally have a build date. I'm excited, but, like,
Let alone, getting a video game.
Getting a video game
like,
system.
I just
yeah.
yeah. It's
like, sir, madame, I just want to play as Yuffie. Can I not have to get a PlayStation 5 to do that?
You must
Sorry,
have a PS5
that's really
for
off
Yuffie.
track. But PS5 just because Sally's a Yuffie stan. That's
I mean, you could go replay, like, the mobile version of Final Fantasy VII.
I mean, I have the original. I have a PS1. I have a PS2. I have my original memory card. Like, I could just play it on the original hardware if I wanted to.
I have original hardware. I cannot find my memory cards to save my life.
Oh no!
I have
So,
my
like,
games. I have my consoles.
Yeah.
You should just cosplay as Yuffie and go parkouring. It'll be like the same thing.
It'll be close enough. I definitely won't get horribly hurt.
Here, you go
This is a good idea.
parkour. You parkour. I'll pilot a drone behind you to get the third-person shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like short shorts. It'll be great.
We'll
Yeah,
see,
this will be fun.
We'll see how good you can jump from building to building.
This cyberpunk got too real.
Oh,
So
where were those reels again?
Last of Us looks fun. I'm excited. I don't know. It looks like it'll be fun. I'm sure it'll probably be worth our time. It's a fine trailer. Good job, Last of Us people.
yeah, you didn't screw up the trailer.
Good
You
job.
didn't screw up the trailer.
Who
Very
knows?
low bar.
Like, I don't know. It's like we used to talk about trailers a lot more on this show. It happened especially because we used to be, every, like, 2 weeks instead of, once a month.
Right.
But so, to fill time, we talk about trailers. But, like, it's what do you learn that the visual direction is good for this show? That's what you learned from the trailer in this.
Well,
Like,
and plus, like, have we really been, like, super excited about trailers recently for anything?
no.
Because,
Nah.
like, most things have just been like, here it is on streaming, blah, blah, blah.
I think the last time I was excited about a trailer was a Star Wars movie.
Right? Like,
I don't like even the superhero, like, there hasn't been, like, I've enjoyed the superhero movies that we've watched. Like, don't get me wrong, like, but I haven't, like, if, like, say the new Marvel trailer, like, I half paid attention to the Black Panther 2 trailer. I'm going to go out and see it when it comes out. I'm excited to see it. But, like, the trailers, like, don't hype me up. Mostly it's because I've watched so many trailers at this point of the 9 years of us doing this show that I know every beat in every trailer, and none of it is, like, unless it's, like, I guess, like, there were a couple times with, like, a Star Trek trailer, like, series trailer for a new show that I got a little bit excited. But that's about it.
My issue is that so many trailers will literally just show you the entire movie.
Yeah.
No, that's fair.
And I get annoyed by that. I'm just
Well-
like, no, I want to figure out what's going on. I want to piece the story together. Don't tell me how, like, the overarching story right away.
Well, and here's the other thing is, like, I think at least, and this is special with the Marvel trailers, is that I often find myself less excited for the Marvel movies these days than I am for the Marvel TV shows.
Yeah. I mean, the track record lately has been that the shows have been better than the movies.
I think
Or at
Love
least
and,
more interesting.
I think
I
Love
don't
and
know.
Thunder got a bad rap because it was a follow up to a better movie. Like, because Ragnarok was better than Love and Thunder, but I
I'm
still
inclined
think
to agree with that. I
I-
really liked
I
Love and Thunder a lot.
I still think Love and Thunder was an enjoyable movie. Well, here's the problem: is that you lose one element that really kind of partially grounds the relationships that you had in Ragnarok, and that is the presence of Loki. And because they can't use any version of Loki right now because he's tied up in the TV show, there was no way. Like, it's really, I think that's the big balance to Thor on screen is, and you see that a lot in Ragnarok, is the relationship with Loki. But again, he's tied up on Marvel Television, where all the fun is right now. I'm trying to give you a segue, Celeste, here.
Yeah, no, that's fair because there is a Marvel television show that's currently airing, and I have
Oh?
been enjoying the hell out of it.
Yeah, we talked about it
we
last month, but we should talk about more because more have aired.
Yeah, more has aired. She-Hulk Attorney at Law continues to be consistently very funny. I'm very much
Oh, yeah.
for it. Boy, oh boy. Like, if the most negative thing I can say about the show right now is Disney, you can afford to pay your animators, frickin' pay them better.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're going to have your main character be CG so much, you can afford to frickin' pay these CG animators. Do it.
Yeah, it's just an industry problem, though, and not really a specific She-Hulk criticism.
No, I know, but that's how desperate I am to find something negative to say about the show. I'm really enjoying.
Here's
really
something
enjoying
negative.
the lawyer show vibe.
Sometimes they don't have an ask for credits scene, and I'm disappointed when I get to the end of the credits.
Oh, that is fair. That has been me the last couple weeks.
They set us up to expect them every episode, and then they stop giving them to us.
Yeah, no, I'm actually, that does bother me.
I was so upset. I was so upset that they did that. I'm just like, where's
Where's the tag? You gave us tags like 3 weeks in a row.
And I really love those.
Oh,
They were so good.
I love Tatiana Maslany so much. But I've been singing her praise on this show for a very long time.
I like all of the I like the supporting cast too.
They're all good.
I
yeah.
like
Oh,
seeing
yeah.
normal
They're all
people
good.
trying to make sense of living in the Marvel world. I think that's inherently a funny concept.
Yeah.
And I love, like, just the interactions between the characters and just like the like instant acceptance. Like the one guy who like has a sneaker collection.
Yeah, the sneakerhead,
And she's
yeah.
just like, oh yeah, I'm here for it. Like, she doesn't diss him at all. She's just like, okay, cool, let's run with this.
But even I love Jamila Jamil's character on this, the recurring superpowered influencer.
Oh yeah,
who I did not even
Titania.
Titania. I did not even recognize her because like when she first showed up, because she's doing that voice, that like, whatever voice she's doing for Titania is just inherently hilarious to me.
She's very good in that role.
Yeah.
I loved the in the recent episodes we had a superhero costume seamster.
Yes.
Who was very. I didn't know I needed a snooty Avengers fashionista, but here he is, and he's amazing.
And he's apparently making Daredevil's new costume
Uh-huh.
because they're putting Matt Murdock in the yellow.
I'm so excited for the yellow Daredevil costume. I don't even know why I'm excited for that. But
It's such
just...
a weird thing to put him in. Like
it's so doofy looking.
It was the Marvel Comics got him out of that costume real fast for a reason in the comics. But I love it. Like, I've seen photos of what the costume actually is going to look like, and I think it looks cool. And I love that they're doing it, but it's still like hilarious to me that like that's how they're gonna update the character, like to show whatever for like the Disney Plus era of the Charlie Cox Daredevil.
I like I really was hoping, since we have like this big name fashion designer doing it for him, I'm a little disappointed. I was really hoping that they could play it even as a comedy beat of Matt needed a new costume and he bought some he went out to buy red material and like the person at Joann's lied to him or something, and just he's got to work with it.
That is terrible.
Oh.
All right.
I'm a bad person. So She-Hulk is still good.
She-Hulk is still good. Yeah. I don't know how much more of a review we can really continue to give the show.
Let the haters be mad about the twerking.
Oh my God, people getting mad about the twerking was so weird. I'm like,
that is
so weird.
It's weird that there are still people upset about that, and I don't understand.
It's so stupid. Like, come on.
Well, you have to
understand,
it's
totally
Celeste,
in character.
These people have never had the touch of a woman, and are
That's entirely
unfamiliar.
possible.
And are unfamiliar with the concept of women because they've never seen a woman enjoy themselves in their presence. They assume they don't ever.
Yeah, it's just not so.
Yep.
I get that. No,
Yep.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's while we're looking at Disney Plus, I want to look at something a bit darker and farther away. Some might argue a long time ago, in a galaxy very far away.
Far, far away, but
far, far away. It's true.
You're far, far away. Andor.
Andor. The first 3 episodes debuted. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
It certainly is exactly what they described it to be.
I'm very on board for this. Rogue One was one of my favorite movies of recent memory for Star Wars. I like Star Wars a lot when it's not about Jedi or and is just I don't know. You know, I like Diego Luna. I have a low-key crush on Diego Luna. I liked his character in Rogue One. I like militant leftist radicals. This is really my kind of show. This feels made for me.
So, okay. Hot take. Andor is good, but it's my least favorite Star Wars show so far.
Oh, wow.
So, and this is the thing. So, I really enjoy Rogue One as a movie. Don't get me wrong. I am not disagreeing that it's a great film. All right? Let's be real clear. And I also, again, like this show and am enjoying it. So, when I say this, understand that this is not me saying it is bad or me saying that, like, I'm not trying to diminish any of the good things about this show. All right? Let's be real clear. But I guess it's just the problem is, and this is the issue, is that it's such a I feel like they're trying to go prestige television with this in the way that I feel like a lot of the other Star Wars stuff isn't burdened with. Like, what I'm missing that I usually get out of my Star Wars media, and this is, again, not a criticism of the show, but why I don't like it as much. I usually get a far more of a sense of hope out of my Star Wars media, and I feel like I don't necessarily get that because it also wouldn't make sense for his character, because one of the largest constraints that this show is going to have is that it's got to get you to the same guy you saw at the beginning of Rogue One, right? And he's still, in many ways, a very pragmatic character at the beginning of that film. And I feel like he warms up throughout the film Rogue One, but we we can't have that character journey for him, right? Like that character journey happens later for him. So it's understanding that we're never going to see that part of his story in this setting. That it just kind of like it's, and again, I'm enjoying it. It's just like it leads me, like it doesn't feel the brightness that I usually look for when I'm watching a piece of Star Wars media. You know what I mean?
That's absolutely fair. It's hard for me to compare it to the other, like, two of the other shows. One of them is ongoing, at least the live action ones. One of them is ongoing. The other two were miniseries that were about larger than life figures.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of what I am really enjoying about Andor is that Cassian does not have, he doesn't have Jedi powers or mercenary connections or a one-of-a-kind starfighter to fall back on or a reputation. He's just kind of a scrappy dude who, fights cops. And honestly, that goes a long way for me.
Yeah, it's and again, I'm enjoying the show. It is interesting to contrast this with Kenobi because both Kenobi and Andor are shows about a character that are prequels to right before the character is going to show up in a movie and die. Spoilers for Rogue One and spoilers for Star Wars Episode 4: A New Hope. Which happened right next to each other in the timeline. These shows have a lot in common. They both have beards. These shows have a lot in common.
I think the beard bit might be a bit. I don't know if that's like the first thing I think of when I think of Cassie and Andor.
Well, right, but I'm just like, the shows are both about like some guy who's going to be very important to the Resistance, who's like and the show's named after them, and the next time they show up in a film, they're going to die.
Yeah, they're going to die
giving their life to help destroy the Death Star
within a week of each other.
Yes,
I want to point that
within a week. There's only 5 years difference between Kenobi's time, when Kenobi took place and when this takes place.
But I don't know. I'm still kind of. There is something, and I know it's kind of a divisive thing with Star Wars fans. Seeing the people at what should be their lowest point, finding the dedication and drive to form the rebellion, I find that whole thing just deeply interesting. Like, I really liked Rebels as a cartoon. I think I like Clone Wars more, but it's that it scratches that same itch for me. And even honestly, the current ongoing animated series, The Bad Batch, also kind of scratches that itch for me. Except that I don't know where they're going to end up in the next few years. Like, I don't know, maybe the gang, maybe the Bad Batch gang will, live on. Maybe they were in one of the ships in Rise of Skywalker or something. I don't know. But I didn't know that I wanted Star Wars as a spy movie, but I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, I want to be clear that like I'm being critical, I know, but I do like the show. I just
That's fair.
You know what it is? I feel like it's less for me in that sense than some of the other stuff that has been in the Star Wars media, and that's okay. Like it's still good.
No, that's fair.
I don't know. Again, have you had a chance to watch any of Andor yet?
Nope. I've been watching Bee and Puppy Cat.
Oh, I've been meaning to catch up on that. I'm so happy that got rescued by Netflix of all people. Okay.
Yeah, it's. We'll have a discussion after you watch it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Netflix used to be known for saving things.
Yeah, that's not them anymore though.
Yeah, they technically saved it.
Kind of. It's a thing. It's a
Yeah.
cartoon hangover was a mistake. Anyway, it it was and wasn't. I don't know. More power to small time animators. Please don't read me the wrong way. But no, Andor. It's off to a good start. I'm enjoying it. It sounds like you're enjoying it too, Trey, just in a different way.
Yeah.
I know something that both of us are enjoying very thoroughly, though, and that is the third season of Star Trek Lower Decks, which is back and continues to just churn out bangers of Star Trek episodes.
Yeah, no,
honestly,
Star Trek Lower Decks is continuing to be like one of my favorite things. It's just, yeah, that is something that is definitely for me. It's the season 3 has been amazing so far. Absolutely.
Every week a new delightsome like journey through the weirder sides of Star Trek. Though my current favorite thing is the Starfleet like at a job fair or like college campus. The idea of them having a booth there it makes me so happy.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, I feel like we're going to see that archaeologist again.
Mariner confirmed as super duper gay.
Well, I
I'm
think
here for it.
I'm pretty certain. I was pretty certain she was canonically bisexual.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I meant. But like, it's nice to have that explored on screen more.
Yeah,
and not just as a throwaway line.
Yeah, it's and everything about the most recent episode I think was pretty phenomenal. It's like the entire, I like what they're doing with the Rutherford plot. Like the Rutherford plot I think is really interesting, where they keep giving us more and more about the secrets and mysteries as to like his blanked memories. And like I also enjoyed the callback, like, but in the main plot, like the callback to like the bug aliens, like to the conspiracy episode of Next Generation.
That was very funny.
Like that didn't happen. No, I think that actually really happened. Like it's what I love about Lower Decks is that they find the comedy in things that have been done on the show in seriousness. Like that's really like there are so many goofy ass things that Star Trek has done and taken seriously, and then we've had to keep going with the very serious trademark shows and just treat like reality as normal. And it's just occasionally to go back and go like, oh no, this goofy shit was canon the whole time. We've just been pretending it wasn't there, but it's canon.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Yeah.
I absolutely adore that.
Yeah, it's it's so great. I think that it's interesting because like I mentioned how like Andor wasn't necessarily, it's my parents were huge Star Trek fans, just cannot get into Lower Decks at all. Not because like they don't dislike it, they just the jokes are not aimed at their sense of humor. Like
no, I can see that.
They get the Star Trek references, and like they've been watching Discovery and Strange New Worlds and Picard, and like they've been watching all 3 of the live action shows, but yeah, it's they just have not been able to get into Lower Decks, which is going to be really confusing to them when they get to whatever that crossover episode that's coming next season. And I really hope they make. I want Boimler to have purple hair if shows up in.
Yeah, Jack Quaid in like live action.
Jack Quaid in live action. Because I don't know if we've been told if the Lower Decks characters will appear as live action or if the thing will be animated whenever a Lower Decks character is on screen. We have not known. We don't know.
True. Yeah, we don't. And I will just have to wait and see, I guess.
To quote Neil Gaiman. Whenever he's asked about Good Omens season 2. On Tumblr. He always responds. He has said "wait
No,
and
I
see"
know.
so many times. Yeah,
It's his thing.
it is. It is.
I get it.
It is words that he says, and he says those words, and within those words is great wisdom that you will only understand by truly waiting and seeing. Oh, I just remember when Tumblr like put up the whole like because Tumblr will promotionally like do like ask celebrity things and like whatever on the Tumblr thing, and like they did one for Neil Gaiman ahead of Sandman's release, and like everyone's response on Tumblr was like, "What are you talking about? We can ask Neil Gaiman questions all the time. He lives here." Like he lives here, Tumblr. We all know. We got two celebrities on Tumblr. We've got Neil Gaiman and we've got Will Wheaton. Those are our two Tumblr celebrities. I mean, I guess there are more writers out there who have Tumblrs, but those are the two, the big two.
Those are the only ones that matter. Sorry, everyone. No, I don't actually feel that
I think
way.
Diane Duane also has a Tumblr. She counts. I read.
I feel like we need
I
to
read
get
her wizard
the
books
ghost
when
of
I was a
Ursula Le Guin. I think her ghost would have a fire Tumblr. Specifically, her ghost.
Well, let's get Witchblur on it.
I feel like that.
All the
that's a
witches
worthwhile
on the Nerd
pursuit.
and Tie podcast Discord. There are many.
This is
of
our
you.
new thing. We need you to get the ghost of Ursula Le Guin.
And we need you to help her set up a Tumblr.
Yes.
There are a bunch of witches on the Nerd and Tie Network Discord. Get on it.
Make it happen, people. I believe in you.
Imagine someone listening to the show with no idea that we're serious, that there are a bunch of witches on the Nerd and Tie Network Discord.
Yeah. No, it's you know what? It'll be delightful when they find out. They're just gonna have to find out the cool way. Speaking of realms of magic and power,
Gen should probably unmute because I'm
coming in.
All right, Rings of Power.
Unlike not unlike the Nerd and Tie Discord. Middle Earth is filled with magic. So Amazon's Rings of Power show got started. Do we have thoughts at this point?
I just want to make it clear, I have not seen any of the episodes. I don't have.
Oh my god!
I don't have the streaming server. I don't have Amazon Prime.
I'm gonna go to your house.
I did send you the Harfoot song. I sent you that yesterday. I know for a fact I sent you that.
And I forgot to watch it, and when I tried to watch it today, it was already taken down.
Curses!
I'm gonna go to your house. I'm going to
I'm reading the wiki.
Physically watch the show with you, so it's not violating my terms of service. If I didn't know, God.
I mean, I can still talk about stuff. I'm currently reading the wiki, and I know
the orcs
most of the
sing.
characters.
It's great. I love it.
Yes, singing orcs.
Yeah, I saw Celeste tweet out that like they sing, and this is the best from the Rankin Bass.
It's the best thing since the Rankin Bass Return of the King. It's true. I'm sorry, Peter Jackson.
I've never seen the Rankin Bass Return of the King. I think the only anime I've seen the Rankin Bass Hobbit, but I haven't seen either I haven't seen the Bakshi Lord of the Rings, and I haven't seen the Rankin Bass Return of the King.
All right, we got to do a Nerd and Tie like weekend movie marathon. We're gonna do all three of the animated.
It's your
people
turn.
I know
all right.
absolutely love. Like when I talk to people, they love The Hobbit. They'll tell me the Bakshi Lord of the Rings is really good, and they hate Return of the King. That one was my favorite growing up.
All right. Again, I'm gonna say this. In all seriousness, if you pick a weekend and you host it, I will come to your house or to a cabin chosen by you in the wilds of Wisconsin, because I never host things myself. We go rent a cabin. I will come and I will watch those with you. All right, and I will bring a Roku with my Amazon Prime login on it, and we can watch the Rings of Power.
Well, you gotta swing by and grab Celeste. Because she's the one that's got all the movies.
I was gonna say I own the physical copies of Hobbit.
So we can watch them at my house, but she has the movies.
That's true.
Return of the King, because Return of the King is, again, inexplicably the one that I'm ride or die for.
Okay, we can all drive down to Celeste's house.
I don't know if you guys want to do that. Okay, if you want.
Well, either that or someone's got to go get Celeste.
There's a way. Where there's a whip, whoosh, there's a way.
Okay.
Where there's a whip, we don't want to go to
Rings of
war
Power.
today.
Even though I haven't seen it, I do know that it's about things going on in the Second Age, and they're picking out the major events that happen in the Second Age, kind of smushing them all together.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I mean, it's a lot of stuff to go through.
Because the Tolkien estate won't let them use anything from the Silmarillion.
Nope. Even though a lot of this is mentioned in the Silmarillion.
Yeah, but
it's really funny because
it has to be in the appendices for Lord of the Rings.
If I had $1 for every time like Elrond has said Silmarils,
they're really important.
Student debt forgiveness. I'm gonna be honest.
Elrond, so I've been enjoying the show more as it's gone on. I've gotten over the TV look of certain things, like, because a lot of it's just visual direction stuff that's bugging me. But overall, I'm digging it. It's so far it is deeply enjoyable. I might find that we've had some elven dudes show up with long hair now, so. I'm still able to, like, I'm still annoyed that Elrond has, like, looks like he went to cost cutters, but
okay, but he's also half man. He's only a half elf. So give him a little credit. He probably still has some man grunginess.
I don't think they've told us that
vibes,
though. Yeah, he's got the darkest looking elf. I don't think they've told us that he's half person, the half man.
Oh, they told you in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh, okay.
In the original trilogy, yeah. Yeah, he's Elrond half elven. Hey, are you gonna let me delve into like lore tangents?
Oh, go ahead. Go right for it. Go for it.
So Elrond is one of a pair of twins. I have to remember the name of the twin. One sec. They're both E names. Elros. So Elrond and Elros are both half elves. So they were given the choice to either go full elf or full human. They could choose to be immortal or mortal. And one brother chose to be immortal, and the other brother chose to be mortal. So,
who
and
the
because
heck chooses mortality?
Elros, I don't know why.
The title character from 3x3 Eyes, like that's the entire like story of that manga. Is her trying to become mortal.
Shush. I would rather be a hot immortal.
Here's the thing. If Eros had never chosen to be mortal, we would never have gotten Numenor and the Numenorians, and you have never had Aragorn.
We could have found someone else to rule the Mountain Kingdom. In fact, actually, what does Gondor need a king for?
I mean, Boromir says that Gondor needs no king, but
I know. I mean, I guess it means you don't get
with us anymore.
I guess it means you don't get a Isildur. I don't know. I don't know enough about the Second Age. So the great thing about the show is I don't know shit about the Second Age other than
that's the
couple
fun
of
bit.
names.
Is like barely anybody knows anything about the Second Age.
Right.
He didn't write a lot about the Second Age.
Right. So I'm like, I'm like this whole this whole island full of people sure wasn't a factor in Lord of the Rings. So I'm betting they're fucked.
No. No. Yeah. Numenor completely went under the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
before Lord of the Rings happened, before the Third Age.
Yeah. So I'm like, are these guys actually going to be useful? Like, is it going to, like, I don't know, man. I'm like, fucking, because we're on Numenor right now. Like, we're in Numenor right now on the show. So, like, Galadriel's there. So, it's, and, you know, obviously we've got Isildur there also.
I just love all the incels complaining about young Galadriel being a Mary Sue.
I'm like, did they fucking watch The Lord of the Rings? Like, even if you haven't read the books, did you watch, like, the 5 minutes of her, like, warging out in The Lord of the Rings? Like,
yeah, like when she was like passing the test of the One
Galadriel's
Ring, and like,
fucking scary. I don't
She
know.
She's ridiculously powerful.
Yeah.
Her
Yeah, she's crazy
soloing
powerful.
a troll is like the least amazing thing I could think of her doing.
I'm like,
Honestly.
she is canonically badass even in the movie continuity.
Yeah, I mean, she's one of the 3 to still wear the elven rings of power
I think it was
during the Lord of the Rings movies.
I think it was a tweet that I saw that like talked about how like if Alien and Terminator 2 came out today, that these same guys who talk about how great those films are would call it woke nonsense. And,
yes,
like,
I saw that.
And I'm like, it's very true.
It's unfortunately true.
Yeah, that's exactly what these guys would do because they suck and they will bitch about anything, and they want to start a culture war. And the bad news is that they won't go away until we sit them down and explain to them that they are wrong, and some of them can be taught and some of them can't. And that's what the front end of my car is for.
But anyways, everyone that I've spoken to about the Rings of Power has been really enjoying the series.
You mean the
Which is
people
great.
who have actually watched it? Yes.
Yeah.
I really well, like, I want to put this in perspective. My partner is not a Tolkien person. Like, she's never been able to get into anything Tolkien, like the books, the films, just hasn't been her thing. And she's actually gotten really into this show. It's really cool actually being able to share that with my partner for like literally the first time in like a decade of being with this person.
I will say that to echo an earlier sentiment this episode, hey Amazon, pay your hair, costume, and makeup people more money and give them time to prep.
Yeah.
Give them pre-production time.
Not giving them any freaking time to do their job. And it's just like, if you want the quality of costuming that was on the original movies,
well,
like,
you're never going to get to the point of the original movies because they literally spent 2 years making chainmail by hand out of plastic rings for the original movies.
Yeah.
They invented new ways to do costuming chainmail because they had so much to produce. And they didn't want to just do like printed cloth like so many films have done before. Or you get like 1 or 2 hero costumes and then everyone in the background is in a sweater. So much sweater chainmail in old movies. It's I'm enjoying Rings of Power. It's good, and if you don't like it for a normal reason, that's fine. If you don't want to watch it because you hate Amazon, that is also acceptable.
That's also A-okay.
That's A-okay, but if it's because Galadriel is scary and kicks ass, you don't know shit about Lord of the Rings, go sit in your room and cry. Like, you're allowed to dislike it for many reasons, but if that's your reason...
Yeah, there are good reasons to dislike the show.
Yeah.
It's just most of the ones that people are most vocal about are not good reasons.
Exactly.
And if people think that everything from the Second Age is weird, just wait until you delve into the first. Things are crazy, y'all.
The trees glow.
Well,
There's
that's
no
good.
sun, but there's light.
Nope. There's 2 trees.
That's flippin' weird, man.
And there's lots of music.
I don't want to live in...
Melkor had to frickin' ruin it.
I'm glad the first age is over. That sounds boring as shit. All right.
It's poetic and weird. I promise.
You're poetic and weird.
Yes, that's a fact.
Ah,
That's a truthful
But
statement.
I'm just like reading the synopsis of like things, and I'm just really glad that like they're bringing in a bunch of characters that like I know from the books, which is really exciting, and they're bringing in a lot of themes that are also in, like the forbidden love between an elf and a human that repeats itself a couple
yeah.
times,
I don't
which is
understand that. This is just a general criticism of Tolkien that I've always kind of had, that like I mean that somehow elves have to give up their immortality or something like that, and then I'm just like, can't you just like bang the dude till he gets old and dies and then just, head out later? Like, I mean
I mean, I don't know, his world,
Not,
his rules.
I was
I'm
looking
about
at,
to
I
say,
was like, Arwen, like, I mean, just bang the dude, then go leave and find a new dude. Like, I don't understand.
I
This
mean,
conflict doesn't make sense to me.
You're
Connor
also
McLeod
not
did this a
thinking
lot,
like
and he was fine.
You're also not thinking like an early 20th century Catholic, to be fair.
Yeah.
Like, let
And
us
one
be
who is
That's
super
true.
fair with
I've never
Christy
thought like an
stuff.
early 20th century Catholic.
Yeah, and one who was like deeply studying like old English and like Anglo-Saxon and like all these like ancient like myths and legends and
The
stories.
guy who makes me look like a King Arthur plebe.
Yeah.
That guy.
Yeah. And who
Also,
wanted
like,
to
the
echo
ultimate
these
wife guy.
themes.
Like, I'm sorry, J.R.R. Tolkien was way too much of a wife guy to
Oh gosh,
even
yeah.
consider the
Oh
idea
gosh,
of
yeah.
like,
The entire poem
yeah.
of Beren and Luthien is about him and his wife.
Yeah, I don't think he could imagine. Like,
here's the thing: if my wife became immortal and not me, right? So we'll put it this perspective: I would be 100% fine with that, and I would also be 100% fine with her moving on the moment I was dead. I only care about what happens when I'm alive.
I mean, fair point.
So
That's
you know,
yeah, that's perfectly valid.
it's
But you didn't write Lord of the Rings.
That's right.
So
I didn't.
it's a little different.
That's right. I didn't.
A
If
little
you want to
different in
know,
the books.
it's speak, friend, and enter. Why is that in Elvish?
Don't make me answer questions because I have
Dumb.
answers. Because they were friends at one point and then they didn't become friends.
and it's a tragic commentary that they're so divided that they wouldn't even think to just say the word friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's
Yeah.
a
I don't know. I think that if you listen to Stormwood and Associates, you have a better version of that puzzle in last week's episode.
Oh yeah, it was in a regular episode.
Yeah, that's the episode
Yeah.
that just went live on Friday.
Ah.
went live on Friday once.
I can't wait for the episode after that.
It's
I
going to
think.
be fun.
A couple episodes after that. I don't know
Yeah,
how
a couple
long.
episodes after that, we've got the next. They at the end of the most recent episode, a certain thing came out of the darkness, and then the episode ended.
Oh, right.
Right. Good cliffhanger.
Mm-hmm.
And that's gonna have the
And if you have no idea what we're talking about, go and listen to Stormwood.
Stormwood Associates Campaign 2. It's fun.
It's wild. It's a lot.
Liz Stormwood gets thrown back 10 feet. A lot.
Yeah, she does. Poor girl. Okay,
She does
so
not roll well. So anyways,
Rings of Power going well so far.
indeed.
Anybody
for
butthurt
it.
by it can stay butthurt.
And again, you're allowed to dislike it for legitimate reasons. We just will not accept that one specific reason.
Yep.
Dumb sexism, bad reason. Hate
Oh,
Amazon,
or racism.
good reason. Yeah, racism.
I will not
yeah,
accept racism either.
What?
Oh yeah,
what
racism
even?
is also bad. Yeah.
Yep.
Here's the thing: is that
I'll
this is what again? I'll say this before. I'll say this again. I don't understand people complaining about black elves because I'm pretty sure Tolkien doesn't actually describe. Like, The elves have pointy ears. That's not in Tolkien at all.
I don't understand people being upset about black elves or black dwarves or black hobbits because you know what all of those things have in common? They're not real.
They're not real. They don't fucking exist.
If you can accept a dragon but can't accept black people,
We've got a problem.
we have a problem, and the problem is you.
Mm-hmm.
It's not realistic. Realistic to what? It's Middle Earth.
It's made up.
These
whole thing is made up.
These things are proto-hobbits. They are 3 feet tall. What are you talking about?
Yeah, and like Tolkien barely wrote anything about them.
To be fair, like thanks to before we move on, I need to get this off my chest. We do have to remember that like especially our modern take on fantasy has been doubly poisoned by what is realistic Middle Ages. What people's conception of what is realistic Middle Ages has been completely contorted by George R. Martin's sexist idiot mind. Because he knows nothing about what the Middle Ages were like.
Yeah.
And it's embarrassing as a historian hearing people explain to me why X horrible thing in Game of Thrones is actually historically accurate.
There's nothing historically accurate about Game of Thrones because there are dragons.
Yeah, it's not real.
That's like another thing where it's
Westeros isn't real.
It's not real. Guys, it's not real.
Westeros not real. Middle Earth not real. Lancelot's not real
they're
either.
Fucking imaginary, and that's why we get to have fun.
Lancelot's just someone's OC.
Yeah.
They're all.
It's not real.
This is all just made up. It's fantasy for a reason. Anyway.
So's your
Galahad
face.
is double OC. So is
OC,
my face
do
might
not
be someone's
steal.
OC. Anyway.
Celeste's face is my OC. Do not steal. Anyways, Mom and Dad Steve challenge.
Let's do it.
All right, so this is the part of the show where I read a line of a book, and well, if you guess what it is, you get included in the Hall of Awesome. If you guess correctly, benefits of the Hall of Awesome are as follows: 1, you get your name listed on our website on a page that's really hard to find, but it's there. 2, I read your name aloud every episode. 3, I think about you in the dead of night when you need it most. Anyways, current members of the Hall of Awesome are as follows: Archimide, Zero, Rena Nascenti, Cheese McDammy, Krista, Slithery D, Shameless Otaku, The Random Ramblings Man, Corafant, Capito, Chris Graham, Lilisaurus, Paper Godzilla, Cavsy, The Minnesota Librarian, Sean Orange, Keith Shizuo, Sakura Sunset, Joel Kreisman, Patrick Delahanty, Wonderland Hearts, and Megsy Sass Council. I have been reading from the same book for a while. I am not trying to make this hard. I'm going to pick a random line, and I'm going to read it. Yes, sir, but I'm sure you are also aware the contact team received assurance they were the first interstellar voyagers the Bandy had met. So how have the Bandy been doing that off-world trading if they have been, and with whom? If you know what book that's from, go to nerdandtie.com. Click on the contact form. Fill it out. Tell us. Or if you'd like to participate in our occasional mailbag section where we read letters from you and let you comment on our ideas, thoughts, and hopes, you go to that form as well. And, yeah, that's words that are coming out of my mouth, I guess, at this point, at some point in time. I don't know. So let's get us out of here.
Who knows anymore? As always, it has been another great month of fun things. As always, I am Celeste.
I'm Trey Dorn.
And I was muted for a hot second. Gan Proc!
And remember... I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, and remember, you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, I should say, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any place that podcasts can be downloaded and listened to. Please consider rating and reviewing us on those places too, because it helps us in the algorithms and stuff, and it makes us feel special and happy down in our heart of hearts. Remember, you can subscribe to this show on many things, but we also can follow us on social media. Man, I am out of it tonight. You can follow us on social media. We are on Twitter at Nerd and Tie. We are at Facebook at facebook.com/nerdandtie. We are on Tumblr at nerdandtie.tumblr.com. We have a Discord where you can chat with us and everybody else on the Nerd and Tie podcast network at nerdandtie.com/Discord. You'll find an invite. And one of the things that we do on that Nerd and Tie podcast network, we talked about Storm Associates, but we do the Meat Grinder, and we just literally recorded the 3rd season of the Meat Grinder earlier this month, and season 2 of the Meat Grinder is wrapping up in a couple of weeks with its season finale coming out October 15th, and there are 2 whole seasons of the Meat Grinder you can listen to that are amazing, and the 3rd season is going to be weird as heck. Trust me. I'm really excited for you guys to hear that, and that'll come out at the beginning of next year. So remember, listen to that. Remember, if you want to support this show, you can either sponsor episodes directly by following the Sponsor Our Shows button on the nerdandtie.com website. You can contribute to our legal fund by going to gofundme.com/nerdandtie, or if you want to contribute to us directly, I've got a Patreon at patreon.com/TRAEGORN. Celeste has a Patreon. What's your current Patreon address, Celeste?
That is patreon.com/CelesteIsBest.
And Gen sells stuff on the internet as Ocelot Dude Designs sometimes, depending on whether or not Gen's store is open. Gen?
It's open right now. Store's open. Go look.
So you should buy stuff.
On Etsy.
Yeah. Ocelot Dude. And remember, in your heart, in your mind, in the places that you don't think about at night, in the place that you filed that one thing that one time, you know what I'm talking about? And you didn't want, Bob to find out about it. It's right there. That's where we are. We're right there, right next. No, not to the left of to there, to the left. Yeah, that's where we are, in your heart.
Keep on spocking in the free world.
I'm dancing on your ventricle.
I'm fighting the Vorta in your aorta. And yeah, so what I'm thinking is that the thumbnail for this image, we're still recording, the show's still going on, but for the image of this episode, I'm gonna AI generate a courtroom sketch of Sauron in court.
Yes, good.
Yes.
That's what we're gonna generate for this episode. And you listening to the episode probably already saw that, but I don't care.
Hecker deserves it.
Yeah. Go to jail, Sauron.
Go to jail, Sauron.
Because Lord knows no one's going to get around to killing you. Not in this show.